You got to realize that you write your own story. Everything from the point you were a kid, you've taken on these emotions and you've accepted certain things into your life. What people have told you. If people told you to shut up whenever you're a kid, then that affects you right now. And that is what creates your destiny. But the brain is so malleable that you're able to rewrite your destiny. And a good question to ask yourself is, what is your life story? And you need to understand what you believe your life story to be right now, because the beliefs that you have is what is going to shape your life. If you believe in a life of struggle, if you believe that the world is in suffering, then the world is going to be in suffering. Because you're going to pick apart every single thing that you see to be representative of that suffering. If you believe yourself to be confident, then you're going to act in regard to your confidence. Whatever you believe yourself to be is what will be. The world isn't black and white. The world is not just some physical plane. Have you ever realized how sometimes when you think about someone, they text you immediately? Like, that happens to me so much. It's not a coincidence. There's so much more beyond this physical nature of things. We are able to manifest our destiny the way that we want it to be. You're able to do that by rewriting your beliefs and rewriting your story. How do you change your beliefs, though? That's where a lot of people struggle. A lot of people believe that they have to live this certain way. A lot of people believe that they're not able to do something. And if you believe that you're not able to do something, then guess what? You're not going to be able to do that thing. So first, let's understand the neuroplasticity of the brain. The emotions that you consistently feel is what you're going to unconsciously act on. So let's apply this to a relationship. If you believe that a certain relationship with a certain person is in conflict, then you're going to talk to the person in the lens of conflict, even if you're trying to be nice. If you're trying to be nice, then what you're saying to the subconscious, therefore what you're saying to the universe, what you're saying to God, is that you're not in good terms right now. And that's where people mess up in the manifestation process, is that they're trying to force positivity, they're trying to force visualization, they're trying to force positive thinking. You can't force an outcome. God hands you what it sees you to be. The universe hands you what it sees you to be. You are given your life based off of your frequency. Nothing can happen that is outside of your own current frequency. And if your current frequency is in, I'm so desperate to make this sale, or I'm so desperate to make my business work, or I'm so desperate to make this person like me, then you're not going to achieve that thing, because you are telling your subconscious that you don't have it. The thing about manifestation is that manifestation will occur whenever you are detached from the outcome. You need to be good with it and without it. Because if you're so desperate, if you're pedestalizing what you want, then you're never going to achieve it. How could you achieve something that which you idolize? If you idolize something, you put it up here, you're putting it out of reach of yourself. You need to realize that this world works in polarity. Every single thing is on the same page. Every single thing is equal. There is nothing that is better than one other thing. All things are equal in the eyes of God. All things. That's why what happens to you 9 times out of 10 is what you wouldn't put past yourself from happening. Now, what does that mean? Your lowest standard of expectation for yourself is what's going to happen. Because your lowest standard of expectation is what you believe to be most likely. Because constantly we live in the mental plane where we're constantly just thinking like, oh, I need to do this to make this happen. Like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Bro, just let go. You need to learn how to drop it. Like, just drop it. And let God do his thing. Let the universe do its thing. You will achieve every single thing that you want to achieve if you just let it happen. That's where manifestation gets tricky. That's where people mess up. But let me tell you, for 3 months out of my career, I didn't sell a single thing. I was about to quit my job. I was so close to quitting my job, and I told myself, if I don't sell a lot of shit the next month, then I'm gonna quit. And I'm talking about commercial trucks. If I don't sell like 5 or 6 of them, then I'm gonna quit. And I genuinely detached myself from the outcome. I genuinely did not try to force anything. I wasn't trying to force a sale. I was just being a genuine person. I was just being my authentic self. And that is how you get to the places where you want to be. Just be your authentic self. Be genuine. Stop trying to force something to happen. Because like I was saying earlier, if you're trying to force something, then you're living in the mental plane of lack. If you're living in the mental plane of lack, how are you going to achieve that thing? You won't achieve that thing if you live in the mental plane of lack. Because what you're doing, the mental plane impresses upon the spiritual plane that which it sees you to be. And from the mental plane, if you're living in a state of lack, if you're living in a state of force, like trying to control everything to happen, then you are subconsciously living the path of unsatisfaction, unhappiness. If you desire peace, then why don't you feel peace right now? You need to learn how to stop expecting an external circumstance in order to find peace. Because external circumstances are nice. Like if you make $1 million, that's nice. But is it going to solve all of your issues internally? No, it's not. If you want something to happen, you need to genuinely live that out right now and not have any doubt, not have any fears, not have any worries, because your subconscious already knows everything that you want. You already know what you want. It's just a matter of clearing the blockages. And what are those blockages, you might ask me? Those blockages are you trying to force it to happen, you thinking that like, oh, if I do this, then it's gonna work. Like, oh, whenever you say, oh, if I do this, it's gonna work, you are putting yourself on a limiting path. You're saying like, you're ignoring all of the other ways that it could work. You're saying like, oh, I need to walk in this straight line and it's gonna work. No, like you're not going to achieve enlightenment from doing that. You're not going to achieve peace of mind from forcing an outcome. If you want peace of mind, you need to learn how to stop expecting an external circumstance to come to you. Manifestation occurs whenever you are not emotionally dependent on external circumstances. The reason for that is because if you are dependent on an external circumstance, like I said earlier, you are pedestalizing that circumstance. You're putting it above yourself. How can you ever achieve something if you're putting it up here? If you're putting it so high above you, how can you ever achieve it? You won't, because you're living in the mental plane of force. The truth is that the divine creative spirit flows through everything. It flows through the grass. That's why the grass grows. It flows through the trees. It's where all life is made. Every single thing has the divine creative spirit within it. You could call this God. You could call this source. You could call this the universe. You could call it the all. Every single thing has that divine creative spirit flowing through it. So why are you living in the mental plane trying to force something to happen if you already have the divine creative spirit running through you? Why do you need to force something to happen if you can literally ask and receive? It says in the Bible, as man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And if you genuinely believe that, and if you genuinely live by that, what you believe to be true within your heart will come true. If you believe that you are successful, genuinely successful, if you believe that you are at peace of mind, then you will be that. The best piece of advice that I can give you in order to achieve your goal, as you are walking towards your goal, you need a sense of serene confidence, peaceful confidence. It's kind of like conviction. No matter what the physical world looks like around you, that is not the end all be all. No matter what your physical senses say, that does not define what you are. Take that in. You need to realize that. If you live your life based off of your physical experience, then you're never going to achieve what you want. Because if you're only working physically, you're not working mentally, you're not working spiritually, you're not going to achieve peace of mind. In order to achieve peace of mind, in order to achieve anything, in order to become a reality creator, you need to understand that there are 3 planes of existence: the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. What most people do is they live in the mental plane. Living in the mental plane is like saying like, I need to do, it's just living in stress. It's living in struggle. It's living in fear. It's living in pride. It's living in worry. That is what living in the mental plane is like. And living in the mental plane will never get you there. As I'm sure you've heard so many times, you need to be present. You need to take a step back and be present in this moment right now. Because as I was saying earlier, the divine creative spirit flows through you. So realize that ask and you will receive. You simply ask for success. You ask for peace of mind. And you will suddenly begin, if you're open, that's another key. You need to be open. If you're open and receptive to opportunities, then those opportunities will come to you. I needed an editor for my book. There was no way I was going to pay a bunch of money for an editor. I just didn't want to do that. I cut myself off from that. Like, I'm not doing that. But I needed an editor. So I manifested an editor. Like I because I was detached from the outcome. Every single thing that happens in your life, you're often detached from if it happens or not. And that's where you're like, oh, like, where did this come from? Like, how did this happen? Because a lot of the time you wouldn't put it past yourself from happening. Your expectations create your life. Your beliefs create your life. But if you're trying to force a new belief system, then you're still living in that old belief system. If you're trying to force positive thinking, then you're actually promoting the opposite. You're promoting negative thinking because you're trying to force it. You cannot force anything and it come to be. Because from force, you're proving to your subconscious that you are lacking in that. Therefore, you will subconsciously walk towards the goal of lack. You need to feel present and complete right now. You need to create a sense of whole and completedness in yourself right now in order to achieve anything that you want. One good tip that one of my clients actually gave me, I was giving him like lessons and whatever, and he kind of spun this off into his own thing. He said that he started living as if it was a visualization technique. He was living as if within his imagination as he was in the future. He was taking his current self and putting it into his future self. And with that, he explained that there is no force about that because he simply just experienced the imagination that he wanted to experience. He wasn't forcing, like through his day-to-day life in the physical world, he wasn't forcing a certain outcome to happen. Like, oh, I got to do it this way to make it happen. No, he like literally just started believing that he was living in that moment. And it started working. You need to realize that it's as simple as that. Manifestation doesn't have to be hard unless you make it hard. We make all of the issues in our life. The way that we react to things, if we react negatively to things, then that's on us. We are making that happen. And from that negative reaction, we are reinforcing a certain identity that is not beneficial to us. What you need to do is practice neutrality. If you practice neutrality, you're able to remain detached from the outcome of things. That's what I did whenever I excelled in my sales career. I detached myself from the outcome. I did not care if I got the sale or not. I was being a genuine person. I was like, okay, well, like, you need this. I can get that for you. Just let's do this, da da da. I stopped trying to force everything. And actually the most recent sale that I got, I was completely it's the same thing. Like every single sale that I get, I sell like really big pieces of equipment. And so these are really high value stuff. So it's not like I get like a sale every single day type of deal. So every single sale that I've gotten though, it has happened whenever I was detached. Like whenever I'm on that sales phone call, I'm like, okay, yeah, I have that mentality of like, if they don't buy, it's okay. I have more customers waiting. Whenever I was detached, it actually came to be. It's the same thing with a girl. If you're trying to manifest a girl, if you're trying to manifest a boyfriend, if you're detached whenever you're talking to them, you're not going to be rubbing off that needy energy on them. You're not going to be so needy and desperate for someone to love. Because that's why so many guys screw up at bars, because they're so needy and desperate for girls. Like if you just stop being so needy for girls, like you will get girls. That's why I say you need to be good with and without something. If you want to manifest anything into your life, you need to be good with and without it. You need to be detached. You need to be detached from how you're going to get there, and just trust the process. Ask and you shall receive. The universe works in mysterious ways. If you have experienced manifestation in the past, you're going to be like, wow, like that was weird. Like I didn't expect it to come to me this way, because the universe is so random. It works on its own terms, for one. So stop measuring your manifestation progress with time, because for one, you should not listen to time. If you are measuring your experience based off of time, then you're listening to external circumstances, and that's only going to poison your mind. 9 times out of 10 it will. If you're judging yourself based off of what you currently have, then you're going to align your identity with what you currently have. And you don't want to align your identity with what you currently have. You want to align your identity with what you have in the future. And that is how you shift into another reality. That's what I did. Whenever I wanted to shift so bad. I was trying to shift into that reality of abundance for so long. And I just couldn't get it because I was trying too hard. I was trying so hard. But then whenever I just gave up, I just said, you know what, whatever happens, happens. It was just like it snapped. Like it all of a sudden just happened. It just happened because I just gave up. I was detached. And whenever you're detached, you become magnetic to every single thing that you want. Like I said earlier, you already know what you want. It's just a matter of clearing the blockages. Anyway, subscribe for more. Like the video to get it out. Spread the news. Because I really want every single person on this planet to realize that your reactions is what creates your life. The way that you mentally frame things is what creates your experience. If you label something in a certain way, then it's going to be just that. See, like that's why you can have someone from like a impoverished country come to America or some first world country, and they will be so freaking happy. Like it's going to be overwhelming. Like they're going to see so much abundance. Because we mentally frame the things that we mentally frame our entire experience. And the way that we label our life to be, the way that we label ourselves to be, is what will be. That's how it works. So, yep, like I said, subscribe for more. Hope this helps.